What's up, YouTube? This is Russ with Wrenching with Russ. Today we're going to show you a hack on how to fix your blend door. We're working on a 2016 GMC Terrain. It's a pretty common problem. This is what we're working on. And the fix for this thing from the dealership is take the whole dash out, take the steering column out, several $1,000s and a lot of hours. We're going to show you how to bypass that with a soldering iron. So what we're doing here is the first thing we do, we got a butane soldering iron. You're going to locate where this blend door is at. It's for the hot and cold. And you take your glove box out, and then we took a soldering iron, and then we just basically cut out a square right in that area, because that's all open right there, with a soldering iron. And then once you get that little box cut out of there with your soldering iron, just make like a square or a triangle with it. You pull that out, and then you got full access to this blend door. And what happens is it breaks inside of there. The actual blend door itself will snap off, and it falls down inside. And so the actuator has nothing to control because there's nothing that's available for it to sit in. So what you got to do is you either take the dash out, the steering column, and everything on top to get to it, or you do what we're doing, and you just take a soldering iron and you cut out the side of it. Again, no one's going to see this. It's up underneath the dash, and we'll show you how to put it back together. But this is the first thing you do. Okay, now that you got the side cut out of this, we'll show you how this blend door fits up in here. It's real easy to access once you get the opening cut. And this is a pretty common problem with these vehicles. So common that the dealership here locally in my area stocks these because it happens so much. So the repair price on this at my cost was about $19 and about 2 hours worth of time. But if you take it to the dealership, you know what that's going to cost you. So now that you got the hole cut, we're just cleaning up the area. You reach inside. And then this is going to be the actual blend door right here that you're going to pull out. And as you can see, it's broke off on one end, which is pretty common. So once you get that out, make sure you get all the other little small parts out, and then you just put the new one back in the exact same way. And then you line the end of it up right where you cut out the slot. And then it's going to snap in on the opposite end. It's going to snap in. And once you get that done, just test it and make sure it moves up and down like you see what we're doing here. And that's how it's supposed to work. And now that you know it's working properly, we're going to put our pieces back in there just like we cut them out. And what we used was a plastic welder. And we'll show you in a minute how we did that. Alright, next thing we did was we hooked the actuator up to it, just temporarily. As you can see in the top corner there, the actuator that operates this control door, and we wanted to make sure that it moved correctly using the heat controls from cold to hot. So that's what we're doing here. And as you can see, once we get it, it's just put a couple of screws in there to hold it for now. But as you can see, the blend door is doing what it's supposed to do. And you'll see here in a second it actuates it like it's supposed to. And that's what it's supposed to do. And that changes it from hot to cold. And the important thing to note on this, when you go to put this actuator in there permanently, you'll want to make sure that you line up the flat spot on the gear into this blend door. And the easiest way to get the bolt to line up is just real slowly turn it from hot to cold until it lines up. And now here's where we're going to put the pieces back together. We know everything's working right, so we just put the pieces that we cut out right back in place, and they go right back in. If you cut them halfway decent with the soldering arm, they go right back in. And then we use this plastic welder to secure it back in there. It actually went in really, really nice. So we'll show you that real quick. And here's the plastic welder. And as you can see, it just uses metal rings, and it heats them up and it presses it into the plastic. And these things work great. We got this one, I believe, off of Temu. And you can put as many as you want in here. We probably put 8 or 9 of them in it. And as you can see, it does a great job securing it. And then on the outside of the cut, we use this 3M. It's a weather strip gasket adhesive. This stuff works amazing. And what we did was, once we clipped the pins off of those for the welder that we used, because it'll have 2 little rods sticking out, we just clipped those off nice and smooth with a pair of side cuts. Then we took this weather stripping glue and went all the way around the outside of the cut. And you don't want to go inside of it, because this stuff is really, really bondable and it'll stick to everything inside of there. We just went on the outside of it just to seal it up. And then we'll show you that here in a second. So all those gaps that you see, everything is nice and tight and secured in there. And then once we take this weather stripping, that seals it up. And then once you finish your gasket seal, pretty much done with the job itself, and then you'll want to put everything back together like you took it apart. We took our fan out of there to give us more room on that side. So we put the blower motor back in there. Now as you can see, this had 0 heat when we first got it. So now you can see at the vents, it's almost 140 degrees. So the heat is working like it should now. That actuator door is working like it should. So this is a quick fix for on how you want to do this. If you can take it to the dealer and spend a couple $1,000, or you can tackle it yourself and go get the part for $19 in a couple hours of time. And hopefully this video will walk you right through the same way we did it, because it worked great. We have had no issues with this since then. As you can see, we got 140 degrees now at the vent. And then we tested the door also to make sure that the actuator was working like it should. So we went from hot to cold, and I'll show you that. So as we go down to cold, we'll see how quick this drops off. So there's the low setting on cold. And as you can see, we went from 140 so far to 112. So it's dropping off like it should. So that, folks, is how you do it. So like we always say, why pay someone else thousands of dollars to do it when you can do it yourself? So if you like this video and it helped you out, do us a favor and hit the like button and the subscribe button, and we can continue to put out more videos for you.